Hello Star Wars fans, and the Star Wars Questioner here. Back in the day of Legends, the books had one thing in common. The POV was usually that of a major character from the films. Not only was most of the books and comics from the viewpoints of Anakin, Luke, Leia, or Han, but almost all of them were focused on the hero. Sure, there was a villain who had considerable time spent on them, but that was more to highlight how evil these people were. Few books had the central character being either Sith or Imperial, two of the few examples being Darth the Bane trilogy and Darth Plagueis. One of the things that is very noticeable with the Disney authorized canon is you are seeing a major shift. Most books actually are focused on the Imperial point of view, much more than the Rebellion. Thrawn is completely focused on the Shiz's rise to power and fame. Lost Stars focuses about 70% of the story from the Imperial service of the two main characters, with the shift only happening when one of them defects to the Rebellion. Dark Lords of the Sith is a Darth Vader, Palpatine-focused story. Tarkin is about the budding bromance of Tarkin and Vader, and most recently Inferno Squad is about a special ops team within the Empire. And this may lead us to question, why is Disney, who has built a reputation by focusing on stories where good guys are good and bad guys are bad, suddenly using Star Wars to show the Empire in a very positive light? It is being shown as being very gray, not dark. One thing you will notice with these books is most of these people are actually being shown as good people who simply believe in order and security and simply don't ask questions. It does add a level of authenticity you don't find in many other science fiction franchises. Many of these people want to do good, such as Galen Erso, who helped the Empire because he thought the Death Star project was an unlimited free energy project, or Iden Versio, who was simply trying to impress her father by being the best Imperial she could be. This is a much more realistic approach to the world, or universe in the case of Star Wars. Just because you're in a bad organization doesn't mean you yourself are bad. The Empire did provide a stability that allowed many young people from poor worlds a chance to leave these worlds, such as the case of Thane Kyrell and Tia Nari. It asks the audience to judge people by their own actions and not by the group they are a part of. This is actually a very mature approach to science fiction. One of the themes is that this is pushing the idea that the Empire itself is just an organization that actually had a lot of good to offer. Many planets were in utter chaos until the Empire showed up and helped them organize. The Empire is shown as being stern, but not harsh. It's supposed to explain why people didn't overthrow an empire that is frankly shown in Rebels as such a weak and bumbling organization, that all you need to do is give a good push and it'd topple over. People saw it as a good organization and were perplexed at how people would be willing to disrupt the peace and tranquility it had brought to the galaxy. Also, the atrocities that were always so prolific in Legends simply isn't the case here. In fact, there are so few atrocities, or they are so random or quiet, that most people don't even notice them. And when a big one happens like Alderaan, it's an utter shock because this simply isn't something that happens. Such things as racism and slavery isn't really a big deal. In canon, it's fact that women are allowed more liberty within the Empire than in Legends. Admiral Dahlia was such a big deal in Legends because of how rare she was to achieve prominence in the Imperial military. In fact, I would say the Empire has more female leaders and more people of color than the Rebellion. They actually seem to be far more liberal in that sense than the Rebellion. The Rebellion might have more aliens, but the Empire has more humans of different color and gender in authoritative positions. Now, showing an alternate point of view is not bad. In fact, many times it is best to show both sides of an argument, since both sides are blinded by their own perception, and you can find the truth somewhere in the middle. Now, I loved the Empire of Legends. The Empire of Legends was a government of brute strength. It was willing to terrorize the galaxy to get what it wanted, and its atrocities were without number. Fear kept the local citizens in line. They were powerful and they knew it. They flaunted this power. As much as you hated the Empire and what it did, you loved how they were not timid in Legends, as showing how brutal these guys were. The more I think about it though, the more I think that this is a stroke of brilliance on Disney's part. With canon, the Empire has many people who are well intended. They have their own internal reasons for helping the Empire. the Empire is doing good things. Most people do see it as something good. But every once in a while, the Empire might make a boo-boo, but it's okay, because it's only once in a while and everyone does that. Even Thrawn says to a rebel agent that the reason he's helping the Empire, even though it's evil, is because of the fact that if it had the right type of leader, it would be such a force of good. Despite this public approval and an outward veneer of tranquility, there is true horror in the shadows. All these good people, they are either knowingly or unknowingly helping evil. When the Genosians are exterminated, no one knows about it. This mass genocide goes completely unnoticed by the galaxy. Slavery was not widespread, and most people were willing to ignore it when Wookiees were being hauled off to the spice mines of Kessel for slave labor, because slavery wasn't an official policy. How many other races were enslaved or exterminated without the galaxy noticing? Entire worlds were strip-mined, but because they were so backwater and poor, no one took notice of it. Children are being kidnapped and murdered by Imperial agents, but no one is talking about it, as if it doesn't happen. The galaxy even applauded the extermination of the entire Jedi Order, even the younglings, because of a few bad eggs and well-placed words from politicians. It took the very dramatic destruction of a world with 1 billion people to wake up the peoples of the Empire to what was going on. Yet even then, there wasn't a mass movement of defections from within the ranks of the Empire. Most of them dismissed it. Something that Star Wars books have gotten very into lately is making political and social statements that come strictly from this world and not from anything seen on screen. Such as Life Debt, where Sindra Rathvelas complains about how a planet might have a homophobic populace, although why that would be a problem in a galaxy far, far away can only possibly be because of Chuck Wendig's, the author's, political views. So what is the statement being made here? Is it a statement about the evils of central government? Or is it a statement that echoes the sentiment that the only thing needed for evil to win is for good men to do nothing? Or is it a cautionary tale about what goes on that you have to ask questions about? I don't know what the answer is to it, although either or any of these could be very possible. So there you guys have it, my thoughts on why the books have been so focused on the Imperial point of view in canon. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below, like and subscribe to this channel. As always, have a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.